So, breaking news. Drake is allegedly being sued by ARI over unpaid debts. And within 5 minutes of this story hitting the internet, social media started acting like Drake was standing outside a Toronto Walmart asking strangers if they could spare a couple dollars for a Happy Meal. People are talking like this man went from private jets to public transportation overnight. Like the OVO owl got repossessed. Like Chubbs is currently selling mixtapes at a gas station to keep the lights on. But here's the problem. I don't think Drake is broke. Not even close. In fact, I think what's happening is somehow even more shadier, because this doesn't look like a man who can't pay. This looks like a man who doesn't want to pay. And there's a huge difference between the two. So let's talk about it.
I got fame. Yeah, I got fame.
What it do, Fame family? What it do? It's your boy, iGotFame. And today we're back with another one. And today we're talking about the latest Drake headline. It's been a while. And the latest headline is making its way around the internet. Apparently, ARI has filed a lawsuit, and immediately everybody started celebrating like Kendrick Lamar personally logged into Drake's bank account and changed his password. Now listen, y'all know I'm not playing for the OVO street team. I'm not trying to get invited to the embassy. I'm not trying to become Drake's emotional support podcaster. He's got plenty of those. If Drake deserves criticism, I'm going to criticize him. But I also think some people are getting carried away with this story, because the real story isn't that Drake is broke. The real story is that Drake might be showing us exactly who he is when money is involved. And trust me, that story is a lot uglier, because the internet wants this to be true. Let's keep it real. A lot of people want Drake to be broke. I know I do. They need it. They pray for it. Some people refresh Drake news the same way day traders refresh stock prices. They're waiting for the collapse. They're waiting for the bankruptcy filing. They're waiting for somebody to report that Drake had to downgrade from a private chef to DoorDash. But none of that appears to be happening. Drake still has his shady ventures with Steak. Drake still has real estate. Drake still has investments. Drake still has music royalties. Drake still has enough money to buy things most of us don't even know exist. This isn't a broke person story. This isn't, not by a long shot. This right here, this is a wealthy person story. And that right there is much more shadier and darker than this Drake is broke narrative. Now, this is what rich people do. One thing regular people don't understand is that rich people often look at debt differently. You and I see a bill and think, damn, I better pay this. A wealthy person sees a bill and thinks, let's negotiate. That's why some rich people let things get all the way to lawsuits, not because they can't pay, but because they believe the lawsuit itself is part of the negotiation process. It's like Drake looked at the bill and said, that's cute. Let's involve 30 attorneys and see how everybody feels in 3 years. Crody, think about it. If somebody says you owe them $10 million, What's cheaper, paying $10 million or dragging the process out until they're willing to accept 6? That's how some wealthy people think. They understand lawsuits cost money. They understand lawsuits take time. They understand some companies would rather settle than spend years fighting. So sometimes not paying is actually part of the strategy. Again, not broke, calculated, shady, creepy. It gives me textbook Trump. Another possibility, Drake might simply believe his money works better somewhere else. Rich people don't always rush to pay debts because they view cash as a tool. If they think they can earn more money holding on to it than they would lose by delaying payment, they delay payment. It's a mindset most normal people never get to experience. Meanwhile, the rest of us get charged $37 because Netflix and PG&E hit our checking account on the same day. Now, this just goes back to the Drake is not relatable at all. And he's showing us with every action that he takes that he's a lot less relatable. Now, let's talk about the part that rich people never advertise. Corporate structure, LLCs, trusts, holding companies, layers, more layers upon layers. And then another layer. Trying to track rich people's money is sometimes like trying to find Drake's authenticity. You know it existed at one point. You're just not exactly sure where it went. Everything gets separated. Everything gets protected. Everything gets organized in ways that make collecting money more difficult. That's not illegal. It's just how the rich game is played. But Drake has a pattern, and here's where things get interesting because this actually fits a pattern. Think about Drake over the last few years. Whenever things go wrong, what happens? Lawyers, statements, filings, lawsuits, corporate responses, public relation campaigns. It's like every Drake problem immediately transforms into a legal document. The man got dissed into filing paperwork. At this point, if somebody cuts Drake off in traffic, I'm expecting a 40-page complaint to be filed by Friday. Now, I mentioned Trump because this is the Trump playbook, and this is where people might get a bit uncomfortable. This strategy isn't new. We've seen powerful business figures do this for decades. Challenge invoices, delay payments, force negotiations, drag things into court, use legal resources as leverage. Again, the goal isn't necessarily proving you're right. The goal is making the process expensive enough that the other side decides to compromise. That's why I don't look at this lawsuit and think Drake is broke. I look at this lawsuit and think Drake has entered his billionaire villain arc. But I ask myself, what if this is all worse than Drake being broke? And here's the funny part. The internet is so excited about the possibility that Drake is broke that they might be missing something. What if the truth is worse? What if he has the money? What if he can pay? What if he's simply choosing not to because he believes he has enough lawyers, enough influence, and enough leverage to force a better outcome? That's not a struggle. That right there is financial privilege. And honestly, that's a much nastier headline than Drake is broke. If anything, Drake is a crook. So no, I don't think Drake is standing outside the embassy counting Canadian quarters. I don't think he's going to be selling his furniture. I don't think he's pawning jewelry. I don't think he's asking Party Next Door for a loan or to cut back on the
cocaine isn't cheap. Expensive. Got to make money.
The usage. What I think we're seeing is a wealthy celebrity using the same tactics wealthy people have used for decades. Delay, negotiate, litigate, leverage, repeat, layers. And while the internet wants to laugh because they think Drake is broke, I think the more interesting conversation is whether Drake is becoming exactly the kind of wealthy person people claim to hate. Because if that's what's happening here, this story isn't about bankruptcy. It's about character. Again, it's about character. But these are just my thoughts, Fame family. Just my opinions. As always, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is Drake actually struggling financially, or is this another example of a rich guy using money and lawyers to avoid paying what he owes? Now, if you've enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the Fame family, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Until then, peace, love.
got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, wish out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got